All right, welcome once again. And this is going to be a continuation of our learning on how to search and retrieve the scientific or research literature. I'll again use the Pubmed database to show us what we call advanced search. But at this point, I would like to caution that when it comes to advanced search, every database has their own system of advanced search. Even when it comes to the techniques for conducting the search, like the use of these double quotes for exact research, every database is different. For example, in Scopus, if you use the double quotes here, it won't really give you this type of exact research. It won't. It will give you a kind of phrase searching, but not exact phrase search. If you want exact phrase search in Scopus, you use curly brackets. All right. So you should be mindful of this, that the important thing is if you pick any particular database to work with, you must study that database to know how it functions. Because no two databases are the same in terms of the kind of results that they index and the amount of results that they index, the relevancy. We don't have any two databases being the same. So if you pick any one of them, you need to master the craft, the science and art of searching in that particular database. All right. So let's move to advanced search and look at what happens here. Again, don't forget, I've applied filters for the last 5 years. If I don't click on clear all here, anything we are going to be doing in advanced search here is going to be affected by this filter. And that is possible, that might result in 0 or null results. So welcome. How does Pubmed organize this advanced search? Very interesting. From the top, you see it says Pubmed Advanced Search Builder. And that word is very important, the last word, builder. So when you are moving a notch higher from the normal scoping search into a focused search, or what we call advanced search, you are going to be building that search. You're going to be building that search from your research question by identifying the key elements of that question or topic that constitute the heart of the search or the main topic of focus. So, for example, dengue fever prevention in Ghana. If we want to look at the practices for preventing dengue in Ghana, if that is what my main elements are, I will not use the preposition like in. I'll simply pick out the key words: dengue, fever, prevention, Ghana, 4 keywords. But when you are doing an advanced search, each of these keywords must be entered separately. And so if it is my first time of coming to do this, I'll simply pick each one of them, type them one by one, determine where or which field should be looked into. Then I add the second one. Now, in advanced search, apart from determining where the system should look, for example, if you look on the left here, it says all fields. If this is the default for Pubmed, it tells you that when we entered dengue fever prevention, it was looking in all these fields. And what are the fields? For each database, they are different. When I opened the one for UHAS, you saw that UHAS has author, title, subject, and something else I don't think I remember. But here in Pubmed, look at the kind of fields we have. Starting from the very top. Affiliation. What is affiliation? Affiliation, the research organization you're associated with. So, for example, if you're a lecturer at UHAS, then your affiliation is UHAS. That is if you make UHAS your affiliation anyway. So the affiliation is something you consciously do at the time of publishing, all right? So maybe you are teaching at UHAS, but you came from a research institute and your affiliation is still with that research institute. Naturally, the paper you have published is going to go affiliated to that institute, not with UHAS. So it's a conscious thing you do at the time of doing your publication you indicate what your research organization or your affiliation is. Then all fields, which is the default, will search all these fields that you are seeing here. So anywhere that it finds your search terms, it will pick it. Author. If you pick author, it means you are telling the system, look only in the author field. And of course, I explained what fields are in the first part of this video. That it is like a table, that is one vertical space for column. So if you say author as a heading, a column heading for a table, you say author, then under that heading, only author names can go there. If you say title, only titles can go there. If you say subject, only subjects can go there. And if you say DOI, only DOIs can go there. All right. So here, author is a field, author corporate. So the first author is for personal or individual human authors. But corporate here means organizations like WHO, okay, or Ghana Health Service, or Government of Ghana, or University of Health and Allied Sciences, University of Natural Resources, something, you understand? So corporate organizations can also author or, produce works. Then you have author first. So even when you have personal authors or corporate authors, there's a particular author that is the first author, and then others follow. Author identifier, if you know the person's author ID or whatever, researcher ID, whichever, or author ID, all manner of IDs exist, okay? If you know the author's ID or identifier, you can use it. Then if you are searching by the last author, sometimes the last author is the one who supervised the entire work, okay, guided the entire research. So maybe you are interested in works that Professor Binka or Professor John Chapon or Professor Margaret Chapon, Professor Soto, any of the professors that I know of my institution or any of your institution, you want to find out the works that they have supervised or guided. Naturally, they will take the last position in most systems. Okay, most, I'm not saying in all situations, but that's what I know as far as guiding research and authorship is concerned. If you're supervised students, usually the students will be the first authors. The supervisor will be the last author, all right? So in that case, you can decide to check the supervisory roles, okay, or mentorship that a particular professor is providing by searching their name as last author. Okay, so if I do that right here, let me just test that system. If I do that and I put in the name of an author, then it is going to bring out papers in which that author is the last in the name list of authors. Okay, all right, but we are not going there. Now, when you put anything here and you click on add, it will put it here in the query box. Right here in the query box. But we are not going to do that yet because I want to see some magic that Pubmed was performing when we're doing our basic or simple search. So just simply scroll down and you realize that all the things that we were doing in Pubmed basic or simple search were actually being recorded by Pubmed. But you will not see any of these things in the simple search interface. We are now in the advanced search interface. And what you are seeing here is the history and search details. History and search details. So you can see they are all numbered. And the latest action that we performed is the first one showing here. Action number one, or the search number one that we did, was to search for dengue fever. So this is our query that we put in. Okay, again, our query that we put in. And look at the number of results, 6,420. Now, when we are in the history and search details page like this in advanced search in Pubmed, we can return to any of these results by simply clicking on the result number here. So if I click on the result number here, it takes me back to the very first action that we ever performed, even before applying filters. So I have 6,420 results when I search for dengue fever. Have you seen it? Now go back to advanced search and down to the history and search details. It is all there like that. Now the result number 1 has come top after 8 because I just did an action by clicking on this result number. So that became the latest action that I did. So it has now come top. But because it's not anything fresh I did, it's the same old result, it picked it as result number 1 action that I have done again. Result number 2 was when we now limited the results by indicating we want it from 2018 to 2022. You remember when I dragged the date graph, all right? If I want to return to this particular result, I simply have to click on this and to open that page for me. However, this is not what I want you to see here. I said simple search does not allow us to determine what really happens. We just simply supply and the system automatically uses its default or preset settings to carry out the search for us. In advanced search, we are going to customize the search. We determine how the system should work. That is the only difference. Now, if you look here critically, the search is numbered. There are actions you can take. If I click here, it says add to the query box or delete this particular or create an alert. These are actions I can take. Now, under details, you see this arrow here. When I click, don't forget, of course, the query, you already know what the query is. We enter this dengue fever prevention. But under details, Pubmed now tells us, so when we enter that particular phrase, this is what happened behind the scenes. So see, it picked dengue as one word. You can see the double quotes around dengue as a specific word, and it set it in where? Mesh terms. Then it picked dengue again, set it in all fields. Dengue again, all fields. And this time, it is combined the dengue with the fever. So it used the end. Let's explain this. The first dengue searched in mesh terms was odd with dengue searched in all fields. What is the significance of this all? The all means this dengue and this dengue are alternatives. They are the same thing, they are synonyms. The only difference is that one is being searched from a particular field, that is mesh term, medical subject headings terms. The other dengue is being searched from all fields, so that whether it appears among the mesh terms or anywhere in the document as documented or indexed by Pubmed, that result should be picked out. You get a picture? Good. Then all of this is also odd with dengue in all fields and fever in all fields. This time we see end. Why end? Because dengue and fever are two different terms. They are unique terms. So we cannot use all. The all is only used between synonyms. So for example, I can say carcinoma or cancer. I can say neoplasm or cancer, not neoplasm and cancer, because they are the same. One is a broader term and the other is a narrower term, or you can say they are synonyms. So you can say and. You use and when you are dealing with unique terms, all right? So dengue and fever, but not dengue or fever, because fever and dengue have nothing in common. The same way, you cannot say fever or prevention, because fever and prevention don't have a sense relation. They are unique words, all right? None means the other, or none relates to the other in similarity of meaning. No, they mean different things altogether. So dengue and prevention, not all prevention. You get a picture? So this is exactly what I was talking about. So all these complex things that the search algorithms of Pubmed were doing behind the scenes, we had no clue. But this is what it did to map your search terms, dengue fever prevention, onto its index terms in order to retrieve those 6,420 results for you. The translations also given here is much the same as what you're having here. And I hope the picture that I'm trying to paint is clear. I'll just collapse this. So we get back to the search history and details box. If I want to add any of these things here to the query box, instead of going to type one by one myself, the search has been built here already with all the Boolean operators, the or, the and. I don't need to, have a headache on that. The only thing that I may want to do here is to add Ghana. So I'll pick this under actions. I say add to query. So my search number 1, dengue fever prevention, is added to query. Have you seen that? But at this time, I cannot tell exactly where, or I have not decided for the search engine where. I am simply following what it did. When we looked at the details, it looked in so many places, all fields, mesh terms, blah, blah, blah. You saw that. So when we add this, the only thing we can do in this box is perhaps, okay, then we should delete this one, because I think we refined this result in number 8, where we use dengue fever prevention as exact phrase. That's what I want us to do right now. So as exact phrase in the last 5 years, or we should remove let's not use the filter. Let's leave it at exact phrase search. So we'll use a result number or action number 7, the search number 7 that we did. We'll add that one rather to the query. Very good. So you see that it comes with the quotation marks, meaning we are doing exact phrase search. Then now I go to the top. The only new term I'm going to search right now is Ghana. So I want to demonstrate the power of advanced search here. I put in my term Ghana here in the search builder. This is not the box, the query box. Okay, the query box is down here. I'm trying to build it from here. So Ghana. Then here, because I'm in advanced search, I have the power to determine the field. Do I want Ghana to appear in all fields or in a specific field? So over here, I say, okay, for Ghana, I want it to be a mesh term. Okay, mesh term. So in the medical subject headings, Ghana, from that particular aspect, where it is defined as a geographical location, that is what I want. Okay. Now, Ghana and dengue fever prevention have nothing in common. They are unique terms. So if you come here, the Booleans are and, or, and not. You could choose any of them depending on the term you are adding. But because the term Ghana that we are adding to dengue fever prevention in the box is a unique term, we will use the and. So once the and is selected, click on it to add that next term to the query box. Having done that, we have finished building our search. And watch what happened. Automatically, brackets came to enclose this to separate the Boolean connector from the two terms, which means that the search engine understands it has to operate from a left to right fashion, execute the search on dengue fever prevention as a phrase first, then it will now combine that result with what it also finds from Ghana as a mesh term. Having done this, I now proceed to say search. Now, what do you notice about advanced search? First, you've got the power to decide which field you want to search a particular term from. So the term Ghana was specifically to be searched from mesh terms, not all fields. So if Ghana appears in any document, but not as a mesh term, that document will not be selected. That's the meaning. Again, we decided what Boolean logic to use to operate the terms that we have. And we chose and because we said the term Ghana that we were adding to the other term, dengue fever prevention, is a unique term in relation to that first term. So we use the and Boolean logic. Now we can click on the search by the query box. It will do a Pubmed search for us. And let's see, how many results have we got? We got no results. That means dengue fever prevention as an exact phrase. In Ghana, there's no result on that. Now, when this kind of situation happens, what do? Now we are dealing with the law of opposites. You know, when we had a situation where we had an explosive amount of results, 200 plus million, we started looking at means and ways of narrowing down by using the filters and all of that. It's the same way when we have this kind of situation where the results are nil or too few, we'll begin to see how we can broaden the scope of our search. So you see, it's not always about narrowing the scope. You can also broaden the scope of your search. Now, how do we broaden the scope of our search? Looking at the search terms that we have here right now, the only thing I think we can do is to remove the quotation marks around the dengue fever prevention so that we don't limit it to that particular phrase exactly as that. What if we have dengue hemorrhagic fever prevention? Let's allow hemorrhagic to come free. Maybe that is how a document that is authored about Ghana or in Ghana on dengue fever has been written. So let's try it and see whether we can expand our results to get something. So right here, we can edit our query. Okay, I can leave the brackets there. I could have deleted them, but let me just leave it. So that we do a second search and see what Pubmed will come up with. Interestingly, Pubmed now finds one result determining vector competence of A. Please, the scientists should help me if I am wrong. Aedes aegypti from Ghana in transmitting dengue virus serotypes 1 and 2. Very interesting. It is available in Pubmed Central Full Text, also available from BMC. So the publisher is Biomed Central. All right, so you can get it right from there and also from PMC. I think the journal is Parasitic Vectors. So if you point to it, you get the full, okay, parasites and vectors. So I was wrong. So parasites and vectors, that's a journal. It's a BMC journal. So you see what advanced search can do. Here we have only one result. Now, this one result may be the most relevant to what we are looking for. But of course, it can also be irrelevant. So you determine whether the content matches what you are looking for. Now, that basically is what we call advanced search, where you have the controls, you have the ability to determine what Boolean to use and all of that. Okay. Now, back to the advanced search, you could go there directly, not necessarily do a basic search and then go and pick the result and add. So let's suppose we wanted to enter these terms ourselves. The default is all fields. So you are constructing a whole new search. This is the last thing I'm doing, and I'm ending the presentation on searching basic, snowball, and advanced. All right. So dengue is one term. All right. Where do I want to search this dengue? Maybe I want to search it from the mesh terms, the medical subject headings. I'll cover that during the systematic search. All right. So medical subject headings. Then I add it. So now I have dengue as a mesh term. But I also want to, search dengue again, maybe from the title of the document. So I look for title, T, where is T, 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 down, 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 title. So I'm searching the same dengue again, but this time not as a mesh heading. I want it to be in the title of the document. But this dengue and this dengue, are they unique terms? No, they are the same term. The only thing I'm varying here is the field. Where do I want the system to look in locating dengue? It should look in mesh terms, or it should look in title of the document. So over here, I will use the or. So I'll add the dengue in the builder here to the query box using the OR operator. Don't forget, we said when we use the OR operator, we mean synonyms or the search terms are the same. So the only variation here is that the first one is being searched for using the mesh terms. 2, this second dengue is being searched for through the titles of documents. That's the only difference. But it's the same dengue, and so I have to use the OR. So whether it is dengue in mesh terms or dengue in the title of a document, or dengue with dengue, that's what I want. And that's the meaning of what I have done, all right? Okay. Then I go for the next term, fever. Now I want fever to be searched as an exact phrase, so I put quotation marks around fever. Now, where do I want this fever to appear? Should it appear in the title of the document? No, as for fever, I don't care if it occurs together with dengue. I can have a document that says dengue outbreak in Ghana, but the word fever must occur anywhere in the document. So for fever, as an exact word like that, I could decide to remove the quotes, but it's also possible to leave the quotes there. Nothing is wrong. I want it as a text word, just a normal word, anywhere in the document, okay? So I pick text word, and I hope you get what is happening here. All right. Now, is fever compared to dengue a synonym or a unique word? It is a unique word. So I have to decide on the Boolean to use. I'll add fever to what I already have as dengue using the AND logic. So AND as a text word as against these ones from mesh and title. Now, my next word is prevention. Prevention, is that not it? So I'll use prevention. Now, how do I want this prevention to occur? Should it be in the title of the document or just a free text word? Or should we look for anywhere, whether in title or abstract, we don't care. We just want it for any field at all. In that case, I'll say I'll use all fields. Look for prevention in all fields. Then prevention adding to fever. Are they synonyms? No, these are unique words. And so I'll add it using the AND logic. Now, my last term is Ghana. So I put in Ghana. But what if the word Ghana doesn't necessarily appear that way? Maybe somebody writes and say in a Ghanaian setting or in a Ghanaian village. Okay, so I determined that, okay, fine. Ghana is the root word or the stem, but I can use truncation. At this point, I do not know whether Pubmed will accept the truncation method that I want to use. You know, there are two symbols for truncating a word. Truncating here means that we allow the word form to take any possible suffixation. So it can be Ghanese, where you have apostrophe S, okay, Ghanaian, where the IAN comes. Any of those endings of the word formed from the root or the stem Ghana are acceptable. So I put asterisk there. That is one truncation mark. Other systems will take the dollar sign instead of the asterisk. Don't forget what I said earlier during basic search. You will need to learn the particular database to know what its techniques are, what are acceptable, what are not acceptable. I will use the asterisk and see whether Pubmed will accept or ignore it. There are some of the databases, if they don't, accept the truncation or any technique that you are using, they'll simply ignore it. But there are some, it can affect the result. So let me use the asterisk here for Pubmed and let the result come, and we'll see whether the asterisk will affect the result or it will simply ignore it and do a search. But for Ghana, where should I search Ghana from? Maybe leave it at all fields again, right? So Ghana can come from anywhere. Again, before I add Ghana to prevention, no. I have noticed something. We'll not do Ghana now. Ghana is our last thing. Usually, when it comes to diseases, we know that prevention usually goes with control. Is that not it? So what if somebody has written on control, not necessarily prevention? We want to get documents that discuss control of the disease as well. So after prevention, we'll add control. Control. And this control can come from anywhere at all. It is fine. But we are adding this control to prevention. How are we treating it? Is control a very unique word from prevention? Or do they mean something similar that can function as synonyms? I think we can use control as a synonym. So at this stage, we are going to use or. So we are adding, but with or. So prevention or control. Anyway, whether we are right or wrong at this stage, I don't even know. But we will know. When we search and we find the results disturbing, then we edit the query. Don't worry about these things. We'll see what to do. Now, the last one, Ghana. We said we are going to translation for Ghana. So the asterisk. And at this point, let me go for mesh terms again. I'll pick Ghana from the mesh terms. Oh no, hey, I use date mesh. No, please, I don't need dates. It's the normal mesh I'm looking for. So let me go down. Mesh terms, yes, mesh terms. Good. And don't forget, Ghana, adding to this, has nothing in similarity with this thing. Ghana is a unique term on its own. And so we are simply using the end logic. I'm thinking there's something wrong with our or control. So let's look at this. The thing is supposed to be prevention or control. But if you look at the opening brackets of prevention, with just one bracket, all right? There is just one bracket. So let's do this search first. It is finished, but I'm sure there's something wrong with the query. So let's do the search and see whether we can edit it and get different results. So we have 2,602 results. Knowledge, attitudes, and prevention practices regarding HIV is among, wow, we're from HIV, but we are dealing with dengue. You see what is happening? Okay, application of optimal control to onchocerciasis. Whoa, what is this? Why is it happening? Okay, recommendation for cervical, oh, what? Now, as I mentioned to you, when we're building the search, one thing we have to take notice of is the logic that the query was building. So these dengues are supposed to be ended with fever. When I say I'm using my own English word now, I am talking about the logic end, okay? And that is absolutely correct here. All right. Let's go into advanced search, or even right here, let's see. if you see the brackets here, if you remember board mass, maybe I shouldn't really bore you with these things. If you remember board mass, you know that when you have several operators, the brackets help you to distinguish the procedure. I mean, how you want to do the operation. So brackets first, then you have division, all of that, multiplication, addition, subtraction, very good. That kind of system operates in the computer's logic, all right? So looking at the bracketing, all right, dengue as a term is all against this dengue. Now, let's explain that using the brackets. So the first inner brackets, this one and the inner one here, is just for this dengue. The second bracket here is what encloses the second dengue as one concept with the or between them. Is that right? Good. Now, the moment I'm bringing a different term, the bracket of fever here and the first inner normal bracket here, not the square bracket, is referring to only this term. And I am adding it to this whole term. And so, in order to collect these two separate terms, by this time, I am considering the first two terms, the dengue or dengue, as one, because it's a concept set. So the double bracket here closes the double bracket here as a set. So it is now one. So the whole of this now, I hope I'm explaining this well. The whole of this now is just one term. The second term then is this one. It is also beginning from this first bracket and ending on the first bracket here, the normal brace, parenthesis here. So this second bracket here means that it is adding this whole term to the first one. In that case, I must introduce a new bracket at the beginning of this first term, which is the concept set for the all dengues, so that it will now collect all these groups together as one term. In that case, I bring my opening bracket here. Now, the next term is coming. So you are moving towards the right. The next term is also ended. That is, we are using the logic end. And it is prevention. And prevention is also put in a bracket. So the first set of brackets here is for just the word prevention. But this prevention is being added to fever. Okay, but is that the right thing? If it is being added to fever, then fever has to take a new opening bracket here to agree with it. But if it is being added to the entire search phrase on the left, then this second bracket here, okay, must be given an opening at the far end, which is the very beginning of the dengue. But before we do that, we realize that we are using another or term. And this or term is supposed to join prevention to control. So it is either prevention or control. So in that case, it would be wrong to close the bracket on prevention here, because in that case, it means that we are separating prevention from control. But we want to or it. You get a picture? So instead, we have to remove this outer bracket here. Now I'm using my own logic, and I hope it works. And so this first bracket here is for prevention. The first of the brackets here is also for control. So the second bracket that closes control here must now have an opening here before prevention, so that prevention and control are also now a concept set. So now we have prevention and control as a concept set. Very good. Here I'm introducing something concept set. That means anytime that or is introduced, we need to be careful with the logic because the or is for synonyms. And it then means that those terms belong closely together and the search engine must operate on them separately as one group before joining their result with the rest. Because the system operates from a left to right fashion, if you just enter the terms raw like that, the danger is that the logic will be confusing. It will not understand that somewhere in the middle, there's another concept set. No, it will just simply be going left to right. And that's why you'll be getting these kinds of extraneous results. So having made this a concept set and ended it with all this, let's move again to the right and see. There's another end. And now Ghana is the last term. Very good. Let's search this also and see whether any correction has happened. I'm not sure myself, but this is exactly what search is. I'm just trying to help you understand one thing, that when it comes to searching, it is a laborious task. There is no straight start to finish line in searching. In fact, the best way to describe search is it is highly iterative. You go back and forth, you do this, doesn't work, you go back. Even now, with the edit I have done, I am not sure whether I am correct. But let's just do the search and see. If it's not correct, we'll think around it again. Whoa. What has happened? I guess I'm correct. Because look, it brings us back the same result that we got when we did the advanced search based on the earlier basic search we did and just added Ghana. That means my logic is correct. That when it comes to the concept sets, you have to make sure you are not treating the search engine as a left-right thing, but you make a special arrangement to contain the concept set when it appears in the middle and not at the beginning. You know, if it's at the beginning, it's very easy to notice, like the dengue and dengue, one from mesh terms, one from all fields. But where you're having prevention and control as a concept set, that means you are making it prevention or control. In the very middle of your query, that's where the danger happens. And so because our query is now correct, you see that it brings back that single result. That means the search we did first was correct. So when it comes to Ghana, this is the only relevant result that we are getting based on that advanced search. So of course, this is what advanced search does for you. It helps you to narrow your results so much to the most specific, all right? And so it is a step higher than the scoping or basic search, which is also called simple search. Now, if we go back to our advanced, we'll see the history and search details, and then we can compare our results. So this search number 13 we have done, and it's already showing the details here. You see it this way because we built the search ourselves, okay, in advanced search. So this is the query we actually entered. In the other case, because we're using basic search, we're just entering the, the name, the terms directly like that, and it was coming. Okay, so apply filters, whatever, everything we did was being recorded. Over here, we did our own search term development or query development using the advanced features, the logic that we call the Boolean logic or Boolean operators, the fields, that is where exactly in the database that the system must look to fetch the result. We made all the decisions ourselves. Now, if you become very good at this and you know your database very well, you will realize that it is possible for you to conduct what we call command line search. What it means is that instead of going to the advanced search, you see that I edited this query right here in the basic search box. You could do all these things right here in the box here. If you understand your search system, you know the syntax, and you can create this. You don't even need to click on advanced search and go and be picking anything one by one. You just construct everything here. Use your logic. Remember that the Boolean logic is always spelled in capital letters. And this is what advanced search is. I'll be doing my last session on systematic searching. And of course, that should come much shorter than this one because it is going to combine advanced search, basic search, and all other techniques, but based on a systematic or procedural approach for reaching all these things by including other technical things that happen in search. We have already hinted at some of them. For example, when I said mesh terms and all of that, I know that many of us are not familiar with this, particularly those who are not in the biomedical and health sciences. I will explain all of that in the next video when we understand what systematic search is about, the kind of things that we bring on board, and what makes it different. I won't go too much, technical. I'll try and make the thing very simple for everybody by, just scratching the surface, but making the distinction between the advanced and systematic show a bit. In most cases, some people, use the two terms interchangeably, advanced and systematic, but they are not really the same thing. When we are talking about systematic searches, we are talking about systematic review. And so the search process itself is similar to the processes laid down for conducting systematic review. I thank you so much for watching this second video on searching. Of course, as I mentioned, because this is a follow-up recording, it's not a live session, it is a bit much longer, but I've also been intentionally slower, and I've also brought in more things than what fitted into the 2-hour program that we did on the 18th of November. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to, like our videos, the UHAS Library YouTube channel, and also press the notification button to make sure that you get notified when any of our educational videos come out. And of course, once you have subscribed to the channel, there are so many other videos there of our previous trainings for so many classes that will be beneficial to you. Try and get in one of these things and help yourself on your higher education journey. Thanks a lot, and see you in the very final video on this very topic of searching for the scientific or research literature. Bye-bye.